will actually work out with Coast, it would have to be Impaler, the guy to actually bring a lot of the pressure.
Well, we'll see what he chooses to do. It's been Rengar, Jarvan, and Rek'Sai. Those three have been his forte so far. Right now, we see a few mid bans coming out. Last time Cloud9 played, mid bans were focused against High to make sure he had trouble, but he got the Kassadin, and that won't happen this time.
Right. There is a theme here with the Coast ban so far. Mid lane champions that High has played that do have jumps or dashes or some sort of move.
And he's safety.
So, two of those banned out already. Nara and Aurelia as well. So, these are a lot of top lane bans, as Lissandra can also be considered a top lane ban, as well as Kassadin. But they leave up the main top lane pick for Cloud9, 4 balls, the classic Rumble. We'll see if he still has it.
This is the second time it hasn't been banned. He picks it up. So everybody's definitely been taking that away from Cloud9. He had it one other time that he could have taken it, but decided to go with a Gnar. He wants the Rumble this time. They feel like it's going to give them what they want throughout the game. And now Coast to answer. What can they start to bring out?
I like the mouse over already. Just even thinking about Mundo.
Why is that?
People are double AP is extremely popular now, and with Rumble already locked in, that's a very, very high likelihood that it'll be a double AP comp. Mundo always has thrived in the double APs, and there was recently that cost increase for the Morellonomicon, so it's not quite as ridiculously efficient as it was before, and people might not get it as early.
There's the Xerath. I think if they don't decide to go with a double AP, High used to be able to play Corki in the mid lane. I wonder if he actually has been trying that at all, because we've seen it a few times.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting pickup for them. Impaler does get the Jarvan, though, so plays can be made from that position. He gets one of his comfort picks. And Jesiz is going to be able to have that safe, clear wave play on Xerath.
Yeah, the very long range locked in from Xerath. Really early pick from him, but they do take away one of the biggest problems that Xerath does have, which is Jarvan. Instant quick lock in here from Cloud9 for the bottom lane without even seeing what they're playing against. Morgana has had such a huge impact so far in North American LCS, really rising in popularity for supports that get to roam a lot. And if you have a strong AD carry like Sneaky, then we may see LemonNation and Sneaky shoving up with Graves and buying LemonNation some time to make moves elsewhere.
And Sneaky has been, like you said, playing very strong and feeling comfortable across the board. This is actually the first time he'll be doubling up on a champion, the second time on Graves, so he's gone a different AD carry throughout his games and hasn't seen a problem yet.
Yeah, well, it looks pretty good so far. You know, Cloud9, they've got 2 really strong AoE ultimates in Grave and Rumble, so they have a pretty good, you know, mid-game team fight there. Graves definitely brings a lot more AoE than most other AD carries, and if one of those bindings lands, then they can easily force that fight. Janna locked in on the other side, though. Of course, still the queen of disengage. Very, very strong support at the moment. Kind of surprised that nobody picked up Annie for the initiate, but Coast needs some disengage here. It looks like they want to work around the recent strategy from Cloud9 that we have seen.
Coast pickup, flying through the stats there. It may be our first Lucian, if I did see correctly, so that'll be interesting for MASH. And on the other side, Vi. Meteos liked that last time, so they decided to stick with Vi in the jungle. And High, he gets one of those champions, Kobe, with the moves. He gets LeBlanc this time.
So he did get one of the few AP carry mids left that do have jumps. LeBlanc, he should be able to stay safe here. Versus Xerath, High will actually probably be trying to put some pressure on him, on Jesiz here. LeBlanc, with especially the Vi, will have that level 6 threat. Xerath's going to have to play far back and just farm. Jesiz will be fine with that play style, though, so maybe Meteos will, again, turn his attention towards balls. Get Rumble fed, and once you have a fed Rumble early game, you can turn that into that team fight you're looking for.
Team fights are what Cloud9 loves to look for as well. And we may have a Maokai picked up here for Cris, as he was reactivated. We've seen a lot more of him, and that will be the lock-in to round out the composition. And that was also, we have to remember that Jesiz went for a blind pick on that Xerath, not knowing what was going to happen, so he wanted it.
I mean, they locked it in with Jarvan, so that's one of the key ones.
For the safety in that.
Vi was still up, and Meteos immediately goes for it. So we'll see how many times he looks to pick up Jesiz. But really, I think the thing that Coast are going to have to look out for are the mid-game picks from Cloud9. Cloud9 probably going to focus on their classic ward control, get the vision early, and then use Morgana and LeBlanc to pick somebody off and work from there.
Well, we do hear a lot about rotations and in transit to different places, helping these pick teams get control of the game. We've seen it from Alpha Ramu and the likes of the picks from him, from Blitzcrank and Morgana. Like you said, Cloud9 don't have that chance here. But Coast trying to stop the bleeding here, trying to get themselves some win as we're just now a third of the way through. And things are going to start getting tight. You know, you don't have, like I said before, you don't have a super week to surge 4 games and hope your opponents do worse.
Yeah, gotta start now.
Gotta start now if you haven't already. So now that you guys have seen the team comps, let us know who you're predicting to win. Tweet hashtag C9win or hashtag CSTwin to @LOL Esports. We'll calculate your votes throughout the game. You know, you can vote more than once, so feel free to do so as you watch all of the LCS big plays come out this game. Everybody's excited. How you doing? It's game time.
All right, so I also want to see what MashMe is able to do, because Lucian Janna used to be the go-to bottom lane. Lucian got quite a bit of nerfs. Janna got a little bit of nerf as well. And ever since, you know, Lucian got those nerfs, some people have been shying away from him, even comparing him to Graves and saying, you know, he's very similar but a bit weaker. However, we've seen, especially in Europe, Forgiven picking Lucian right into Reckless Graves and doing just fine. So MashMe confident as well, and we'll see how they play it out. So far, standard lane matchup, so we probably will see this 2 versus 2.
Cloud9 is going to go, oh, Sheep is going to be able to see this. So the communication already starting. They can stay safe in the early game, and you already see that Cris and Impaler are making their way over to get the same amount of wards.
Yeah, pretty standard. Deep wards going down here for both teams. Everybody's gotten into the habit trying to find out where the lane matchups are going. I will see Cris place his.
Oh, auto attacks for days. Oh, he didn't stay. I guess he knew that Impaler was also in there. Now, looking at this, we kind of said being in transit would be a bad thing. Are Cloud9 going to try to force Coast into, or not force Coast, but is Coast going to want the lane swap and then Cloud9 try to bring it back and forth?
Yeah, so they're looking for it right now. I don't know how bad Cloud9 are going to look to match it up.
Okay.
If they would actually recall out of a lane, because Coast already positioning up top. So it looks like Cloud9 will just leave it. They will take the swap, and Rumble will start Wolves. Maokai, of course, whether you're lane swapping or not, pretty much all Maokai should start Wraith Camp. They're very easy. Cris actually mistimed his saplings. Because he went to go put that ward down, he didn't get back in time. Ideally, right at 1 minute and 20 seconds, you can start stacking up saplings. Then they will instantly blow up all the small ones. And you can even stick around and take out the big raptor. But since he had to place that deep ward, he does not get to pull it off. Wild Balls gets the entire wolf camp.
Yeah, nicely done there. Pinching a wolf into the wall, so we actually saved a bit of damage on the leash. Oh, LemonNation to the mid lane. We've seen a lot of teams doing this back and forth. That's the barrier that Jesiz brought to lane to save his life.
Yeah, especially with a champion that can have that level 1 crowd control as your support. We've seen it so much starting out in the mid lane and looking to blow a summoner. He does get the barrier, the lesser of the 2 summoners from Jesiz, but he did get something. Hai also burned his Ignite in that, so not going to gain a whole lot. Some decent harass, though, onto Jesiz. He's been pinged out. LemonNation was seen. Doesn't go all the way in to check. And actually, I'm curious if he's going to actually go up there and protect balls, because they haven't had vision yet. And you always have to be wary of those 4-man tower zoning efforts in the lane swaps.
We already saw the pressure mid lane, which we've actually gotten the past few days. And now to the top lane here. This is going to be onto balls. They missed the flag and drag. He should be okay for the time being here. Now Impaler takes the hit. That's going to be double bust over to top lane. Huge there for ball.
So that's why we call them the 4-man tower zoning efforts, or 4-man dives. These turrets, buffed in the preseason, much stronger, and it's much harder to pull off those tower dives. If your support is Janna, not something like Morgana who has the lockdown, who has some CC like that, fairly dangerous to pull it off. Coast bungle the effort, and Balls not only gets first blood, but he gets double buffs on Rumble. This is exactly how Cloud9 like to start it off. Ball's in a great position to carry. Meanwhile, Cris was zoned out because Cloud9 actually did a better job. They froze their lane and forced Cris to come out to try and soak up that experience. So Cloud9, no surprise here, handling the lane swap much, much better.
So true. And I can't remember just how many times, I can remember, but you've said that Rumble can turn a gank around for himself, just easily in, out, and you have no idea that it's going to happen. Balls does that for himself. Great play so far coming in here from Cloud9. They get themselves a bit of a lead and a little bit of pressure relief. Now they can start playing with things. So 2v1 by himself. Can't even do anything about it. Overheating is the only reason he turned around. You can see he's right back in it once he's able to cast.
Yeah, he got a ginormous trade right there. He did end up missing the cannon minion because he was so hyped up taking such a good trade.
Impaler wants
But Impaler is drawn up top. Once balls hit 6, even that 3-man gank, if they use both the AD carry support and jungler, balls would still have a good chance of turning that around and getting a kill. Almost level 6 already. So pretty much obvious here, very early teamfight control from Cloud9. They can force any objective that they want to. This really frees up LemonNation and Meteos to gain complete ward control. We'll see if they can set up enough vision to really transition this power into the mid game.
Well, High staying safe, doing what he said he would. The rest of the team can really handle themselves well throughout the laning phase. Cloud9 probably one of the stronger teams, just the regular laning phase through the game, and then mid-game decisions are also a strong part of their strategy. So this is going to be very hard for Coast to come back. Already with their late-game decisions, something's being called into question. This game not looking good to start off.
Well, Coast are probably already looking more towards that late game.
Yeah, right. You're going to have to now.
Cris,
stay safe.
Looks like Cris will be going the standard Rod of Ages build. He's got some support now from Sheep to help him get CS and even it up there with balls. But Lemon continues to land the bindings.
You can also see Impaler's jungle quite affected here. Level 4, 17 CS. Meteos able to pick up even just more now because he's so far ahead.
Crap control for there for Meteos, yes. But the interesting thing is that Coast, since they've actually decided to funnel their money up in the top lane into Mash, because Cris would have a really hard time fighting balls since balls got first blood. That 1 versus 1, a level 6 Rumble versus a level 4 Maokai, really scary. Mashme has a bit better of a chance of, trying to poke some CS from range as Lucian, and since he does have a dash as well, a bit safer for him. But really, nobody wants to be up in that lane against the First Blood Rumble.
Already has boots, too.
So they're all leaving, and they're actually going to try and make a play bottom hit, it seems here. Maybe Cris is going to use his teleport soon once the cavalry arrives. Probably go back to base and then teleport up to try and hug turret.
He's
and
actually
soak
half
up
on that
against balls. The problem is that balls minion wave actually pushing towards him, so they would actually have to call jungle support or something to get that wave all the way into the wall and reset.
Yeah, he actually is preventing any farm with Flame Spitter right now, just using Scrap Shield to keep his charge up in that gauge. So it's going to be really hard. That's going to be no easier for Cris, and he just got pushed out of bottom lane. So the walk up there, he's thinking about it. He's thinking of how to mitigate this. Maybe Impaler to come up top. Balls does have that double buff worn off now, but he'll be safe anyways. Yeah,
he's managing the wave really well. You can see he's pruning it so it's not too big. If you stack up way too many ranged minions, it gets a little bit too much, but he's got it in just the right place here. So Pink Ward already in place. I would expect Meteos to go up there. He's got ultimate available, and there's no way that Cris can get anything in this game. If Meteos goes top and camps the Pink Ward, then Cris is going to have to be zoned out of experience or die. Meteos, though, is on the bottom side. Looks like he will focus down there and maybe use his first ultimate. As soon as you get that thing on Vi, you're itching to use it because it is so strong, almost guaranteeing at least a summoner blown.
A good sweep and then a good ping following after actually stops Meteos from going in. Not sure that he can get the gank, and he may have a good counter here.
Yep, Meteos heads up top instead because down bottom, of course, Mashme and Sheep are playing safe because of the item discrepancy. They actually lost out in the swap as well. As we said, Cris, not a lot of options, so he goes mid since he cannot go top. And once again, another team focuses on high, but he's able to get out with just burning his flash.
I mean, I understand you're waiting for the perfect moment, but he was within inches of being able to Twisted advance him.
Flash is down here for Cris. I didn't even notice that he actually flashed as well, but didn't quite go the distance there.
High's flash as he flashed in, so it was good timing on both of them. Very heady movement. Blue buffs are going to be transferred over. We'll see what happens here now in the mid lane. Both of the mid laners have kind of been outspoken about playing safe, so maybe not a lot. We do see the Chalice on the side of Jesiz and the Fiendish Codex for some damage on high. And to this bottom lane. All right, go ahead.
We just want to keep, the bottom lane's getting shoved in here, really strong by Cloud9 since they have that BF to pickaxe, but also, so there's not a lot Mash can do, but also keep tabs on Cris. Since that, the last time we checked in on balls, he still has the wave in the same spot, and since Cris cannot do anything, he tried to roam mid, and then he went and farmed the Krugs, and that is it. For the last 2 minutes, they haven't been able to get anything for their top laner, and balls is up to level 8 now. Could absolutely crush Cris. Here comes Meteos to camp that pink ward we were looking for. But man, this is again, Cloud9, immaculate lane swap to start this one out. And it was pretty much, well, you can attribute a lot of it to Coast's mistake with the dive as well, but this is how Cloud9 start off so many of their games. Very big early lead.
And Coast have invested quite a bit of money into the ward control here, but none of it saw Meteos. 3 pink wards behind the Baron. He does get that sapling out, though. Pretty much going to save his life. I wouldn't be surprised if they still decide to go into this real hard.
So They don't
Yeah.
have too much deep wards, and those pink wards that you just pointed out, very good line here for Coast. Morgana in the background, so it's a good flash from Jesiz. Yeah, it was a good idea for Cloud9 not to overextend up in that top lane. Didn't know where the jungle was for a counter gank and support roaming as well. High able to even up flashes in mid lane bodes well for him because High is on the assassin, the one with the kill pressure. Xerath has to play a bit more defensively. He's the one who really has to worry. When both flashes are traded, advantage goes to the assassin.
And you look at Impaler here, as you're talking about Jesiz, he has to play safer. Looking back, what do you do as Impaler when you lose your double buff like that instantly as a jungler?
Well, you could see he was in complete recovery mode. Wasn't able to get much done, trying to play the vision game here. And you have to always worry about counter ganks. That's why he did not go for much after the early failure. Cris does clear out the ward and open up the way for a gank, though. This is a 3-man gank, so they've padded their numbers in this one a little bit.
See if they could get it with the levels. Uh-oh. Nope. Balls nose. Cleared out. Is a little bit of a different play from Cris. And it looks like he knows to just reward and continue to stay safe in the top lane. Real quiet after that first kill in the game. Cloud9 going for Dragon now. I don't think there's going to be any contest here. The teleport of now a Haunting Guise and Sork Boots Rumble would just be too scary. He could obliterate anybody.
Yeah, and Cloud9, taking advantage.
Oh. That's flash down. He's got safety, though.
I want to see it land. So close. Cloud9 did a good job, taking advantage of the roam top here from 2 members of Coast. Pretty easy dragon pickup for them.
Ouch.
And all of the ward coverage from Coast, you can see, is littered around the top side because they're so scared of what Rumble has become. Meanwhile, Cloud9 shoved straight up the mid here. Xerath doing his best to wave clear, but Jesiz running low on mana.
Cris, 150 CS in that top lane. Can't give this guy his top champion. Fell away for a little bit. Everybody forgot that he played it last year, and then he brings it back. Just balls on Rumble. Can't do much about it. Looking back at the early part, we know he got that double buff, and he's been able to control the lane, giving Meteos time to set up wards and the rest of the team to play it safe. Ganks from LemonNation in the early game at level 2s, something we've also seen a lot more. Saw from Bunny Fufu yesterday. And it's starting to all just domino into this now. 2 turrets down. They're looking for that top one to be dropped by balls, but I think he's actually just trying to keep Cris there. Give him something to think about and really not allow him to be with the team. Sneaking out a pan back to bottom. Just everything working out for them here.
Holy moly. Balls has almost 2,000 gold more than Cris. Those CS numbers that you mentioned are very, very daunting right now. Cloud9, not only do they have this ginormous early lead, 14 minutes on the new season, a gold lead like this is almost unheard of. And it's just because they crushed so hard in CS during the lane swap that Coast were the ones to initiate, by the way. Because Cloud9 handled it so well, their mid game is going to be very easy to execute. They also have the team fight comp with Rumble and Graves, who's already got his Infinity Edge.
Yeah.
So huge amount of burst in AoE form from Cloud9. They can pretty much take whatever they want on the map. And next Dragon, as soon as that one pops up, should easily go to them, you know, untraded and uncontested.
Well, it's only going to hurt more and more. With that Dragon, they took down the turrets, so that, like you were saying, the spike also in items that Coast cannot match yet. Infinity Edges to just the pickaxe, BF Sword, already past Morello, now Makan onto more ability power. And it's just looking grim. Sneaky can now free farm top. Not really free, the team is there to give him guard, but that'll be the last final outer turret for Coast.
Whew. Let's see what Coast can do, because tower's falling down
trying.
like
You can
dominoes.
see, Impaler knows he can't do much. He's hoping Meteos didn't take his red, but that's gone. So they're kind of just, they're looking for scraps.
Yeah, and honestly, looking to get deep wards right now should not even be a concern of Coast. Their ward coverage should all be on their own territory. There's no point for Coast to ward up Cloud9's jungle right now because all of the fights are going to take place on Coast's side of the map. And they have to be worried about their own jungle right now because this is where Cloud9 are going to start setting up their picks and, you know, catch them as they swap lanes.
Actually had one of our plays come from this. Same spot Cloud9 is hiding in right here. They may do it again. Hey, shh, shh. They're hiding. I don't think they're going to do anything.
Oh, he's got
This
him.
is so mean.
So close.
That's sapling. Oh, he missed it. They waited so long. Oh. That was just the anti of what was supposed to happen.
Okay, crowd, let's play a new game. Next time they hide in a bush, everyone hold their breath and see if you can hold it until the gank actually comes out. All right, so nothing gained here for Cloud9, but honestly, they have the entire map under control.
Whoa! There we go. He's not going too far. He's pinned in the back. They're able to take down at least LemonNation.
Teleport comes in, high collapses. They don't want to let him get away with it.
This could actually still be big. This is now, we're going to see what kind of damage balls can do. But they all run for the hills. They quickly exit that one stage left.
Because it's so early in the game, teams not really used to having this much control over the map. Cloud9 punished right there, you know, for being a little bit overconfident. Really good job by Impaler, still not hesitating because they know Team Coast right now, they have to take advantage of any opportunity that they see.
Yeah.
If they see a support soloed out and you are on Jarvan with your Warrior Enchantment completed, boom, Impaler goes for it. You know, nice job right there, pays off. Jez is able to clean up that kill.
Yep.
Something small here for Coast that they really needed.
It got out safe too. They give the team a little bit of that knowledge that they can make some in and out plays, but I don't know if Cloud9 is going to open up to have that happen again. They have the wards still out. Sweepers are on cooldown for Coast, so they can't really get any of that vision just now. So Cloud9 privy to all the information as they set up even more, getting these items out of base. One Dragon in their name is 30 seconds. Probably the next one won't even be contested here by Coast.
We shall see. Heading over to that side of the map. Both sides of Coast Jungle worded up from Cloud9, so they are ready to pull off one of those picks with their LeBlanc Morgana. Balls did use his teleport, by the way, in the last jungle fight, so they will not have the extra mobility there. Looks like he's just going to wait around for Dragon, then head up to catch the wave that Cris is shoving. Maokai doing his best. He can actually clear a wave fairly quickly. See how early Balls heads up there. I like this move from Coast, actually. They don't even try and contest Dragon. They actually want to pick off whoever goes to farm the top wave. They know that somebody's going to try and come farm this wave. So they've sent Sheep and Impaler up here to catch Balls.
Oh, got him. He's going to be able to lay the equalizer down. I don't know if he's going to. Doesn't get the ult off. Great job. Called it. Coast was setting up the trap, and they deploy it perfectly. We'll see if Cloud9 can actually answer with an inner, however, on the bottom lane here, knowing that there's so many resources top for Coast.
Yeah, Cloud9 getting really lazy, actually. Even they crush so hard in CS numbers early, it doesn't matter that much, but you can see cracks already. And if you continue to make lazy plays like that in the mid game, whoa!
Hello, a little bit deeper than he wanted to go. Mash getting that relentless pursuit on to get himself out of the way. Meteos taking damage here. This could be where Coast kind of shines a bit, catching up on the fight of low HP Cloud9 members. There's one that they wanted. That is, however, high on the backside, being able to take him down. So I guess this one just pans out still, one on each side.
Many of I have gotten a little over-aggressive. Not getting to use his ult, not getting to use his ult for a long time here in this game. Meteos a little bit impatient, baits in his team, and costs Sneaky a death of all people. Actually the one to pay that price. Yeah. So again, mistake after mistake after mistake from Cloud9. Even though they had this great opening, the game in the state that it is right now, the mid game is really important and very easy for a couple of mistakes to turn around an entire game. People can easily come back from these things because the gold from Dragon is not there. Cloud9, even though they've controlled it, it's just the small statistics. So Meteos, very deep use of his ultimate. And we know how this one ends up. Sneaky went to go follow it up. High went to go try and follow it up. Yep. So Cris teleporting in back, takes advantage. They take down the AD carry. And he fires his ultimate to try and get Maokai there. Oh, he died down to something. Oh, it was the Maokai. Okay, so High had his Ignite ticking on him. So Cloud9 did trade, however, I would still chalk that up as a mistake.
For sure, they're definitely not looking as coordinated in these fights for the lead that they have.
Yeah, I mean, it does happen to a lot of people. A lot of people know that feeling of getting so far ahead.
You just fight all willy-nilly.
Exactly. That's a good way to describe it. Now, though, that they've given up so many kills, I think that they will regroup and consolidate their efforts. Vision has started to creep back here from Coast as well. You know, not only were they able to knock down a couple outer turrets because of these lapses in judgment from Cloud9, but they were able to extend some more vision coverage and, you know, take out this network from Cloud9.
Sneaky getting free farm in the bottom lane. He can stay safe. He doesn't actually really have the wards to be doing this right now. In the top side, he sees a few, but it doesn't look like he's going to stay for too long. LemonNation and the rest of the team knowing wards on Baron are going to be imperative coming up soon. And looking at Coast, closing that gold lead just a little bit. That was about 5,000 gold. With the turrets they're able to drop now, it kind of surges back. So if they can get a good fight and keep Cloud9 off of the Rift for just a few seconds, maybe those turrets can get them back into the game. Because I don't know if the full team fight's going to be also going in their favor. Good clear out here by C9, maybe forcing Coast into something they don't want in just a few.
Kind of reminds me of the CLG games. You know, they crushed so hard early and a couple of hiccups in the late game. They're still very much ahead and have a huge lead.
Well, this is what we talked about before, Kobe. When the transition has to happen, that's when Cloud9 will make their picks.
All right, there's pick number 1. Meteos does get to successfully use by ultimate this time around. It's a much better feeling, too, post level 11 when you have your level 2 ultimate.
Feels better.
And the cooldown is much lower.
Oh, dear. Risky ward by Jesiz. Could have caught a binding from Lemon there, but they just weren't on point for it. So Cloud9 knows they can do a little bit. Doesn't look like they're going to get a lot out of just Impaler going down.
Yeah, that's the thing. Since they got so many objectives really early in this game, the objectives left are really hard to take. Baron is extremely difficult this early in the game. Inhibitor turrets are certainly a very tall task.
Oh.
Cris, though.
One after the other. He's going down finally. Great damage. So they can actually take down Cris quite quickly there. That does not spell good things for Coast.
All right, 2 picks back in a row, and Cloud9 feeling much more secure. They do have Baron pinked, but again, fairly early in the game. And since they've already had a few hiccups, don't want to give another opportunity for Coast to come back. Play it slowly here. Maybe pressure some. Oh, never mind. Ping goes down. Oh, there's a bait ping. It wasn't a do Baron ping. It was another, okay, we can probably get another pick with our vision advantage.
We need more pings. You just need more pings.
A bait ping?
You need a bait ping.
Okay.
We're going to bait. Meteos on full Scuttle Crab control this game. A lot of gold there. And as we said, still looking at the CS, Jesiz has picked himself back up a little bit, put himself on his feet, but the rest of the lanes fully in favor of Cloud9 coming out of this one as we would have expected. And I'll see if they can keep closing the late game. Once they put onto the table that they wanted picks, we saw them get 2 in the top. Go to reorganizing their lanes here and doing a little bit of cleaning up and pruning before they get back to more picks. I don't know what, though. Impaler and the rest of the team are getting their ward coverage as fast as they can.
Yep, they want to take their small opportunity to get towards the Baron, get down in their visions, because they do not want to have to face check the pick squad again. Continue to stack up their advantage, though, Cloud9 here.
That's a big old Vi. Meteos coming out with Warmogs on. Sneaky grabbing. 3rd dragon of the game. You usually pick up Warmogs?
So I have, you know, dabbled in Warmogs builds since I saw Azingi strutting his stuff on solo queue with early Warmogs quite often. And I am a pretty big fan of it if you're going to stay out on the Rift for a fairly long time, because the passive regeneration from it is really undervalued from a lot of people, especially as a jungler. You know, you can do a camp while people are rotating around the map, and then join up with your team, and just standing around with your team, you know, waiting for the fight, you will regenerate back to full health very quickly. Plus, I do like it as a first item, defensive item. Base, just straight up health is the way to go unless you're facing a very focused team that is pretty much all magic or all armor.
All right, well, Cloud9 cleans up the rest of the resources in the blue and red buff area. It looks like they're back to the pick zone. Set this one back up. And already, they weren't even really here for that long, and they already had coverage of that pink ward that was not cleared out by Coast. They're just too afraid to move out. And they're going to be actually able to steal Coast Red. They own nothing of their side of the jungle, and Cloud9 is going to be looking to put the finishing touches on this one maybe quite soon once they break the base. 26 minutes on, and they are going to start the Baron.
All right, vision cleared out once again. Let's see who is bold enough from Coast to come in first. Looks like nobody. Sheep's going to wander over, but he is a little bit too late.
He was just grazing in the fields.
Yeah,
trying to figure out what's going on.
Cloud9, they had such ridiculous early map control that they could take all of the dragons uncontested, and so they could just use all of their ward efforts on that red side of the jungle behind the Baron, and eventually establish just the threat of those picks. Too high for Coast to go check. Now with the Baron, they can easily take the turrets. It was a bit harder before.
That's something that stings. Being able to put that damage on Jesiz, no way to get it back unless he goes the fountain. So if High decides to do it once more, he's going to be down. That's the Q charged up by Meteos. Ball's actually taking turret damage from the burn on Equalizer, and that's what Coast wants. They go to dive in. Meteos onto Impaler. He's going to fall immediately. There are a few blinking bars here on Sneaky and Balls. They decide to get out of this one. Coast is able to hold the front line.
Definitely could.
Wasn't pretty.
Yeah, exactly. It could have gone better for Cloud9. Ball's interesting ultimate there, but since they're so far ahead, still able to grab that kill, and a lot of damage on that mid turret. Baron, though, you know, with the reduced duration, I think that might be the only push that Cloud9 get to pull off with it, unless they regroup quickly here. Looks like they are buying and heading straight back up mid, though, so they want to get a second push in. We'll see if High, High's going to go back to base as well, so they want to try and get in that second push. We'll see if High gets there in time. Oh, he keeps up the split pushing. Another wave of Baroned up minions, you know, to try and put some pressure on the last standing secondary turret.
These are some pretty good cooldowns at this point for the team. You can see they're all about 75%, just about ready to be up now, so they can go back onto this. And Coast can't even. They know they can't do anything. If that one falls, it's just a matter of time before it's the top turret as well. With Baron being down, bottom lane isn't even a hassle. They have no objectives to worry about. Cloud9 drops the first inhibitor just under 30 minutes into this one. And they just had really good control throughout the game.
They want to try and get the most out of this Baron and get another turret while it's still up. LemonNation also, you know, really securing the end game path here.
Yeah.
Once you're at the point where you have control of Baron, you have the Baron timer, you have a huge lead in the game. I really do like picking up Banner of Command because you can get that magic immunity on those giant cannon minions
like
right
that
there.
Guy?
Yeah, when Baron buffs up his range and you give him magic immunity, you just have to sit back and watch him do his work. Because nobody's going to be able to clear that. You're going to have to use a culling from Mash Me to clear that sucker. Yes, Jesiz, that's not going to do much. Immune to magic.
He's trying.
They don't want to. There it is. He's trying.
Meteos! Call him Shieldios.
Takes it.
Everybody stood in front of that one.
It didn't even look like that culling would actually take out the full cannon minion.
It probably wouldn't. I think the cannon minion is laughing right now. He's just having a heyday. Oh, what an equalizer! The team is forced to split. Spread and coast back and forth, and they are going to be able to take down another inhibitor onto this. 1 minute on to drag it, but that's all the amount of time it may take for Cloud9 to take the rest of the base and the Nexus.
All right, here we go. 30 minutes for Cloud9. Already working on Nexus turrets.
The crowd is giving him the chant. We saw the vote on social media. This is going to be one last attempt. The right of the arcane. Something we really even have seen Jesiz be able to use this game with the pressure he found throughout the team fights. Sheep pushing back balls for one last attack and a 6-4 game, but 30 minutes in, it's a win by Cloud9.
Yep, definitely that well-deserved win for the way that they played the early game. But again, once we see teams get that far ahead, we're always hoping for a really clean, crisp execution and end to the game. And, you know, a couple bumps along the way there.
Few bumps. They got the lane swap they wanted, but gave balls double buffs. Unfortunate.
So that was huge, to say the least.
Yeah, especially a player of his caliber as well that loves to be kind of down on his chances, you know what I mean? He will easily be able to pull that one back up. He likes a challenge, and he was given one today.
He's, I mean, Rumble's already more mid-game focused than Maokai, and if you give him that early first blood double buff, then, you know, nothing Cris could do. Couldn't even go to lane, and Coast not able to do well in the early lane phase once again. So this week, they've struggled with that aspect.
It is something they tried to remedy. They said themselves it's not something they think they are very strong in, so they looked to get at least Mash going this game with that early gank. But like we said, it went to the wayside. Cloud9 obviously coming back looking stronger. High keeping with his promise to the team and the fans that he will play a safer mid lane.
0 deaths for High.
0 deaths for High. Coming out strong in this one. And just overall, we saw the CS in the lanes, kind of told the story of the game. It really spelled out a lot and foreshadowed the rest of it.
Definitely true. Coast's going to have to revisit their early strategy, especially with the being the ones to opt into the lane swap.
Cloud9, they don't make things very easy. Coast didn't either, though, first picking that Xerath, but getting the Jarvan with it to hope that it kind of softened the blow of being able to just be knocked out. And like you said, they forgot about the Vi, something Meteos has actually been okay with picking lately and really okay with counter jungling you, going in hard, a little bit harder than usual, and it worked.
And even with Xerath being matched up against a LeBlanc and a Vi jungler, you know, it wasn't even the biggest part.
No.
As you said, it was a side lane CS.
So we will see if these guys can keep it up, but we'll see if Coast can also bring themselves back up. It's been a tough season so far, and a lot of people thought they'd be up there. To walk us through Cloud9's methodical win,